Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being on time. Really appreciate it. I'm very excited to share this webinar with you today. Just want to do a quick audio visual check. So if you are here in the audience, I'd love you to let me know in the comments whether you're on YouTube or LinkedIn. Let me know if you can go ahead and see me and hear me okay. So we'll just wait for a quick minute to see if somebody has joined. And while we're doing that, so today the webinar is about the SaaS scale up and about helping your business scale I guess the number of customers you have, and also make sure that you keep those customers over time. I'll be sharing with you my sales marketing blueprint for 2025, the thing that I'll be deploying with my customers. We've got customers across a whole range of various industries. So you can see a few people saying that they're here. Fantastic. Well, let's dive into it. So today, first of all, my name's Matthew, and thanks, Desiree, appreciate it. Great. Oh, good day, Edward. Nice to see you. Fantastic. Okay, perfect. So today we're going to be talking about the SaaS scale up, the sales and marketing blueprint for 2025. This year has been a really interesting year with AI really squaring its shoulders into the marketplace. The latest AI startup. There's another one every other day. How much has that really affected the marketplace, and how much does it affect selling? With the new various political things happening around the world, how is that going to impact? I think it's actually going to be a net positive overall because there's certainly a lot more enthusiasm in the marketplace for what's to come in the next 12 to 18 months. So what we're going to be talking about today is the scale up. I wanted to give you a quick rundown of who I am. So let's just dive straight into it. Make sure that you know that I'm qualified. So who's Matthew Wyatt? So I started my first tech business at the age of 22 with my wife, who was at the time 21. And over the years, we'd built a number of organizations, number of businesses. We grew and sold 5 different businesses, exited about 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. And we took a year off and then came back after living in Bali for a year, and I've been doing consulting. I've been tipped into various businesses by large consulting firms over that time under a Queensland government initiative for a small business. Happened to be in technology. They needed sales and marketing. I was the guy they called, and so I did that for a number of years. Early 2020, started a marketing company because what I found is I was doing the strategy, I was building the teams, running the organization from a sales point of view, and helping those businesses onboard and train and recruit those salespeople. And then what I found is that there was a lack of fuel for the sales machine, and fuel is marketing, fuel is fresh new leads, and asking high quality, high value salespeople to go out there and do cold calls is going to be really challenging. You're not going to find a high professional salesperson wanting to do cold calls, because even inside sales, there's a number of, I guess, ranks and positions you want to take up during that time. So over the course of my career, I've probably sold about $100 million worth of technology, or helped my customers sell that as well. And over that time, I've recruited and trained for my own businesses about 1,000 salespeople. And I learned that skill from a chap named Ross, who the first page of his book says that he's probably recruited by the mid-90s, had recruited around about 10,000 salespeople in his businesses and for other companies as well. So I sort of continually standing on the shoulders of giants who have gone before and really made an impact in the world of sales and marketing. And so that's my story for the last 4 years. I've been growing Tech Talk, which is a strategy, sales, and marketing business specifically for software and technology companies. I've narrowed that down to just software and SaaS businesses now. Find that they're the ones with the product got the greatest opportunity to really scale those sales. And so that's been a bit of my story. Recently, I've had some pretty impressive, pretty great success. Let me just get rid of me. You know what I look like. There we go. So what clients have been saying about what we've done is I'll give you I'll go full screen on this, and you can see here that on the top left-hand corner, you can see that Warren has said the changes you've made are phenomenal. Bottom left-hand corner, the roadmap process alone was more valuable than anything we gained from others. And this is a particular process that we do here at Tech Talk that really goes to unpack and understand exactly what a customer and what a company does, who their best fit customers, and how to communicate with them, build out that entire process. So it's a really important process. We still do that today, even though I've been doing it for a number of years. We get better and better every time we deploy roadmap for a client just to build out their marketing plan and the way they're going to approach the market. And we've got Jackie Jones there, so who talks about buyer-centric selling is a completely different approach. It's all about making sure you're spending your time with the most useful and most valuable clients. And the most recent one here is Sean from Nexusoft. We have started working with Sean about 4 or 5 months ago now. And in that time, Sean and I we've looked at how he's got a reasonably large platform. What we've done there for him is we narrowed the field to a particular group. He can do anything with his software, and he's got a number of customers, a number of sectors. We've gone ahead and narrowed that. We built out a case study. We then created hyper-personalized marketing for those people receiving those messages through LinkedIn and also email. We restructured his sales process. So he stopped giving away massive amounts of value for no return. We started charging for elements of the sales process. And since then, since working with him for a couple of months now, we've been able to help him close about $2 million worth of new business in that time. So these things work, and I can give you the phone numbers of all of these people to talk to. The structure that I take you through is exactly what I'll be taking you through today. There is a template at the end you can screenshot and grab as we go. So let's dive into it. What's the agenda for today? So the agenda for today is, excuse me, as first of all, the 4 impact areas. If you've joined me before on a webinar, you know what these are. It does warrant repetition. The reason is because this is how we structure everything. This is how we think about our sales and marketing in the going out to the market. There's lots of options. I was speaking to the client earlier this morning from just outside of Washington, DC, and we were talking about all the options. And he said, look, I'm just so confused. There's so many things that can be done in the marketing world. And I said, look, I feel that marketing is like walking into the pantry of the master chef kitchen. And there's 1,000 things you can do. And somebody who's not trained, like me, would stand there and go, well, I don't know what to do. There's no food here. There's only ingredients. That's something I've said to my wife more than once. I open up the cupboard. There's no food here. There's only ingredients. So the thing is, what we need to do is make sure that we work with somebody who's competent and knows how to turn those ingredients into food. And so same with marketing, turn those the options, the ingredients into strategies and tactics that actually drive continuous growth and sales. By the way, if you're in the comments, if you're watching this live, please ask questions. Please do feel free to let me know that if you think that I've made a good point. If you'd like to ask a question about a particular point, it's important, and I'm more than happy to go backwards and forwards, interrupt my flow, and have a conversation with you. That's actually the most fun part. Just talking down the barrel of the camera here for an hour is probably the least most favorite thing I can do. I try to do it because I want to make sure I can deliver value. How I think about what I do with Tech Talk is I give away all my best ideas, and we just get paid for implementation. I get paid for results. And much like being a salesperson, I would often, with a salesperson, I would pay them minimum wage. And that sounds cruel and unusual, but there was enough social proof in my sales rooms that they could make $250,000 to $300,000 a year. So they weren't there, and if they were there for the salary, they were going to be the wrong person. They wouldn't make it anyway. So so that attitude of getting paid for execution is how I think about Tech Talk, and so we take on clients on that basis, and we work with people in executing these frameworks. If you want to take it on board yourself, please download the slides. If you want the slides, just put the word slides in the comments box. I'm more than happy to email those slides to you today. Also, anything else that I speak about, happy to give that away to you for free as well, because really it's about implementation. If you can implement it yourself, fantastic, happy days. So first of all, 4 impact areas. The second thing that's really important, and you might have picked up that I've already told you about this in my story about Sean and how we were able to help him close that extra $2 million worth of business, is the chapter called Nail This or Forget the Rest. And so this is something that's new to the presentation. So if you've joined me before, like I can see some of you have joined me before, this is not necessarily a new concept, but a new way of framing this particular thing. And another new concept in what I've been speaking about quite a lot recently is growth at the speed of trust. Because I've been really thinking deeply about what it takes for a person to make a purchase decision. And really the commodity that they're going to trade on, or the thing that they're going to look to, is this company trustworthy? Are there uplift? Are there the value exchange going to, the money that I pay for the software or service? and the software I receive, is that do I trust them to deliver the promises that they've talked about? So it's really incumbent on you to make sure that you've developed that those offers. The offer is also backed up by truth, and then you can actually grow at the speed of trust. We can talk more about that in a moment. And the last part is your 2025 marketing blueprint. So this is a one page, probably breaking every single rule of PowerPoint, not too many points in, but I wanted to get it all into one page so you could literally take a screenshot of it. And then that would give you the ability to sort of follow the bouncing ball. It's one page, not a one page marketing plan, but it's like one page blueprint. This is how we're going to do it. Sorry, this is what we're going to do. How you're going to do it is up to you, and how you position your business, because every single business is relatively unique. All right, well, let's get into it. So the 4 keys, and so as I said, this is probably repetition for some of you. If it's new, please just take on board. I am going to run over this reasonably quickly. If you want to talk about this, just put a note. I've got a separate training called the 4 keys. Just put a comment in the comment section wherever you're watching this, whether it be YouTube or LinkedIn. Put a comment in there saying 4 keys, and I'll give you that short training just to really expand on those ideas. So first of all, we've got your target market. So what I'm saying here is I'll get rid of me so you can really see that in full screen. I'm not the most important person here. So your target market, clearly define and understand your best fit buyers to ensure your lead generation efforts focus on the right audience. The second thing is demographics is not enough. You must understand the psychographics of your best fit customer. There is a lot of business out there. You're only in competition with apathy. So you need to be sure that when you're out there communicating with your target market, that you not only understand where they are and who they are, but how they think, how they react, how they're measured, and how their KPIs. What's important to them? What values do they have? That psychographics piece is absolutely vital to really have your marketing cut through, and specialization and hyper personalization is so important. That's when we get to the next part, which is your circle of influence. So your circle of influence is essentially the headline here is obscurity is the enemy. We want to figure out and build out, expand on the number of people that know you and can advocate for you in the market. So a lot of you are running your business based on referrals, which is absolutely perfect, which is great. But what you can't do is it's hard for you to put your foot down on getting more referrals. You can't say, well, I'm going to spend an extra $10,000 this month and get twice as many referrals. You've got that referral program in place, hopefully. And also, as you, with good SaaS businesses, you've got a number of, achievement points as they become more and more proficient with your software, and any sort of feedback you get through customer service, you're able to capture that and create that as an opportunity to ask for a referral or ask for a testimonial. Those asks through not just the end when they get through the end result, but on the journey to get the end result is really, really valuable. So you build your circle of influence, expand your visibility by creating and distributing valuable content that attracts and engages your best fit buyers. So we know who the best fit buyers are. Now we need to build the number of people that know us. The third there is your relationships. Build and nurture a lasting relationships with your prospects through personalized communication and value-driven interactions. I was actually interviewed on a podcast yesterday, and the ladies asked me, what do I see as the next big trend in marketing? What's the most important thing for businesses to think about over the course of the next 12 months? And I've already said it in this webinar today, but it's hyper-personalization. It's understanding your client, their values, all the things that I've already spoken about, and then communicating that you understand you're one of them. Understanding and also building a relationship through secondary people, so whether it be referral partners or consulting partners, you to build those relationships. And very rarely is money the trigger and driver here. I know there's some accountants in the room, and I know that there's some engineers in the room, but the thing is, money is actually not the lever you should be pulling. It should be the looking good, the looking smart, being smart. Those are the levers that actually get people to provide you a referral and also have your content being shared. So that's why I started my own podcast, is because I thought, well, would my best fit buyer want to share my content with a colleague? Having a photo of if you run a florist and you have a photo of a flower and say, it's good to be me today, that's not helping anybody. That's just putting content out there for the sake of content. Having a podcast and actually interviewing people with interesting ideas, people who have already done the thing. So this I put out a podcast just this week with Daniel McDougall, who I met just before COVID. He was a one-man band. He'd worked at Red Rooster, or he was a franchisee for Red Rooster, and he was trying to stand up this business where it was food safety business. He's a salesperson, and he was the CEO. He did everything. Over the course of, then COVID happened, and he raised a little bit of capital, and he's been selling. He's just been out there driving, and he's just raised capital, $10 million at a valuation of $50 million. And we broke down the steps that he took. We really got into the weeds of exactly what he did and who he worked with, and the conversations he had and the number of VCs that he talked to. We go through that in the podcast. And it's not an advert for the podcast, but the point is that if anybody's out there who is in business, who runs a SaaS business and is interested in how others have gone from zero in 2019 to have a business worth $50 million in 2024, that's probably worthy of having a look at that podcast. So check that out. So the reason I do that is my relationship. I want to continue relationships with my clients, and so I want you to think about how you can build a strong and personal relationship at scale with your target customers. So that's your relationships. And the fourth part there is too many mousing things. There we go. And then the next thing is your offer. So crafting compelling offers that solve your prospects' problems and lead them into meaningful sales conversations. We need predictable, practiced, and effective sales processes. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this today. This is one of the key areas that we spoke about already in the chapters, or the agenda. And your offer. We need to create offers that make it almost a no-brainer for your target customer to want to come on board. To put that another way, we want your customers to feel stupid not buying from you if they make that decision not to buy from you. We want the offer to be so good, we want your customers to feel stupid not buying from you. So first of all, we have to start with the offer that goes out into the marketplace. Then we have to drive traffic to that offer, whether that be through cold email, advertising on any platform you could think of. Pardon me. Whatever it might be, just going to sip of water here. Whatever it might be, you need to drive traffic to your offer, and then you need to make sure that you're following a sales process that is, once again, predictable, practiced, and effective. So your offer, your traffic, and your conversion. So many people know their target market really well. They build their circle of influence. Everybody knows who they are. We've got customers who are out there building strong relationships, running podcasts, whatever, doing all the things, spinning 1,000 plates, but then forgetting to build an irresistible offer, forgetting to drive traffic to it, and forgetting that actually they need to be in sales. And that part there is a key differentiator between businesses that are making sales to the 5 or 8% of the marketplace that get it, and the ones that sell to 20s and 30s who double that number, who really scale their business because they spend their time thinking about their offer, the traffic, and the conversion. Okay, let me go back to there. All right, so that is the 4 keys. Let me give you a quick breakdown on all of them. I've already spoken briefly about them. So this is your target market. This is your current customer base, A, B, and C. That is not for A, good, B for average, and C for crap. This is absolute, beneficial, and convenient. This is absolutely true for a lot of SaaS businesses. They say things like, well, I can get 1,000 of those types of customers. And you might be able to, but they might be convenient clients and they'll be really painful to deal with. You might find themselves in a situation where they're taking up a lot of time in customer service, and they're discount or they're low price customers. I don't know how many times I've had the conversation in the last 25 years when a customer demands a discount, you will find them to be a really ordinary client. Simple as that. Happens more often. I can't say all the time, because I'm sure that it's not never that they're sometimes good, but sometimes, most of the time, that they're pretty ordinary. So don't think about those customers. I want to focus on the absolute. These are the best customers. These are the ones that give you 80% of your revenue, and take 20% of your time. Whereas the bottom scale, 20% of your revenue and 80% of your time. Once again, if you want me to go deeper into that, we can organize a meeting later and we can talk about that, how that specifically fits for you. So then we know the target market, and your circle of influence is the next part. The number one asset for any business entrepreneur or personal brand is attention. This guy is Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't know him, Gary V started doing a wine tasting YouTube show on in his dad's bottle shop, in his wine shop. He has turned that daily sipping of wine and providing wine reviews to a marketing company now, working with people like Nike and really giant companies. His business is now worth $600 million. And his latest book is called Day Trading Attention. It's all about driving attention to your brand. So that is something that you need to think about, is how do you get more people to know you? Because I've said it myself to clients, the only reason you don't have enough sales is not enough people know about you. And we know that it's true that if a Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Kevin Hart or somebody like that decided to go into competition with you, you'd probably have a really hard time, because the attention, they can get the eyeballs. And even if their product is substandard, they're going to be able to take market share off you and certainly grow a very, very large business. That's why people use influencers. Obviously, I'm not saying you want to find an influencer if you're selling an accounting package, but think about how you can grow your circle of influence. Who in that space is an influencer? Who in that, in the New Zealand accounting space, or the, or the mechanical space in North Queensland, who is getting noticed? Are there podcasts that you can go on? Is there a way for you to get your message out there using other people's platforms? One of my strategies, of course, I run my own podcast, but I also have I have spent time and energy every single week putting pitches out there to other podcasts for me to go on their podcasts. Daniel Priestley from Score App and Key Person of Influence says his best marketing strategy that he deployed this year was getting on other people's podcasts. You get their audience to see your product, and once again, it's like a referral. You get that that trust is being transferred to the next person along the chain. So in the past, it used to be early to rise, work like hell and advertise. But now that there's way more you can do with the Facebook and Insta and LinkedIn, and have created these platforms for you to actually put content out there at scale for free. There's never been a better time to get your message out. Never in the history of the world has there been a better time to put your message out. But the thing is, never been a better time for your competition to put their message out as well. So you need to make sure that you're doing that and you're driving enough activity in the marketplace to have your target market. When you're hyper personalizing your communication, you can get it out there to your market. So nowadays we think about the three pillars here: one-to-one, your face-to-face networking. Screenshot this if you like. If you want my slides, just put the word slides in the comment section. I'm happy to send those over to you. So this is there's three ways: one-to-one, face industry networking, attend industry events, respond to comments, engage in forums, that type of stuff. One-to-many is let the algorithm do the work for you. Of course, you also got cold email, mass messaging, public speaking, that type of thing. Webinars is what we're doing here, and referrals and word of mouth. And we need to think about that as a legitimate long-term way you can grow your business, because the model of your business, if it doesn't have baked in deep how to actually pass your product from one person to the next, then you're going to have some real challenges growing. You've got every single growth, every single sale will have to be initiated and driven by you. If you've got some virality, if you've got some ability to go ahead and have your product used by a customer of your customer, a client of your customer at that second level, then you're going to be able to find the ways where people can use your product, get a little bit of value, and then want to know more about you, and then you'll make that next sale. Think Trello, think Canva, think Jira. These products where they're baked into the model was that shareability. Baked into the model was that ability for a person who's not a client to get some value out of your product, so then they can become a client. So referrals and word of mouth, super important. Think about, if you want to think about it deeply, think about the model that you're using inside your business to drive that activity. And of course, you've got loyalty programs and UGC and user-generated content, that type of stuff. All right. Third part is your relationship with clients. I know we're going over this again, but it's really important you get this at a deep level. I think about this a lot, and I train this every day, and I work with more than a dozen businesses doing marketing and selling and helping them close deals. But it's always about what are the problems that the client has and how do we solve for them really elegantly. I was on another call today, and they sold a product, a fintech product that allowed bookkeepers to get more control over collecting the receipts and expenses from their clients. I went to their website, and their product was all about helping people get their expenses under control. What they didn't realize, and then I asked them who their market was, and they said, "Oh, we work with bookkeepers," but they had no mention of bookkeepers on their website. So we've got to really know who we're selling to, and then make sure we're pointing our marketing towards those people. If you're working with a particular group, another client of mine sells an amazingly broad platform, and it could do, it could be in ag tech, it could be in agriculture, it could be in law, it could be in manufacturing. So what we did is we created case studies narrowly about each one of them, and then communicated directly with those industries, and found ourselves in a situation where they were winning new business because we hyper-personalized their whole sales process. So we really understood their problems, the messaging we knew about their problems. We messaged it to a chief financial officer, and said, we know the industry is getting squeezed. We know that you're always expected to do more with less. How are you going to grow your business without any fuel? That type of level of communication. We know these things about the industry. We've got this for you. And that created serious amount, millions of dollars worth of new business by getting it really, really clear. And so how you do that is, so this is a new product the new thing that we build now for clients is, you want to think about who the target customer is. What insight do you have about them? So, for example, founders and directors of small, medium businesses might be tasked with strategic operational decisions. They've got limited visibility into trends, and their risks are reactive choices. So what do? Well, we need to spotlight in our messaging how our analytics solution empowers proactive decisions, provide a competitive edge, and we answer the question, how will this enhance your decision making? So we've got to create insights and then message focus, because just saying we know this about you is not enough. We need to create some messages that follow that. All right, moving on to the next one. Nail this or forget the rest. And so this is something that has become really obvious in the last couple of months working with a really broad range of software and SaaS businesses. I've found that the ones that get this right, doesn't matter, will make the sales. The ones that don't get this right, who don't follow and have discipline to do this, find themselves really the victim of long sales cycles, spending money and wasting money on marketing. And that is your sales structure. Really, shocking for a salesperson to say that. I know I might be, might be the wrong person. No, not the wrong person, because I've seen this live. I know I've got a bias, but this is true. Your sales structure, a solid, practice, repeatable, with tangible outcomes process. And the thing is, they go, well, what happens if they're a referral? What happens if they come from a webinar? What happens if they've come from content marketing and paid advertising? It doesn't matter. I don't care where the lead's coming from. As soon as they come into your orbit and they are looking like a qualified client, they need to follow the exact steps, because if they don't, they'll be probably a pretty ordinary customer, and B, they're going to take too long. And this is the real key here. We need to make sure it doesn't matter where the lead comes from. You need a solid, structured practice sales process that has tangible outcomes. Tangible outcomes, talking about that offer already. I've already mentioned before. This is absolutely key. You need the scripts. You need the processes. So it wasn't just with that customer that I spoke about earlier that we changed the sales script. What we actually did, we changed the structure of the sale. We changed the structure of how he actually went out there and spoke about it. He was selling software. Nobody wants to buy software. They buy outcomes. So we created an offer that talked about outcomes, and then we created a sales structure that actually allowed the customer to feel confident that they are able to create that outcome. And I can talk about that more in the trust section, because that weaves perfectly into it. So this is the most important thing. Nail this or forget the rest. Nail your sales structure. And if you want me to send you my sales script and or the structure, the sales structure that we use, or we usually do teach people, just message sales structure in the comment section. More than happy to send that to you. This is the evolution of sales. So the evolution of sales over the course of the last, since I've been in business, since 1999, that's since I started my first tech business. I was selling before that, but this is how it looked. We used to put an advert in the newspaper. Yes, newspaper. And people with a 1-800 number, people would phone the 1-800 number, and the salesperson would pick up the phone, and they would have to build. And their job was to build the trust and the credibility, tell the story of the company, qualify and diagnose the problem, and then provide a prescription for the problem the customer had. And this has been the way for a long time. And then the internet happened, and then digital marketing happened. And what happened, and people's enthusiasm to have conversations and continual conversations with salespeople also reduced. So now marketing is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Marketing is now building the trust, building the credibility, building the story of the business. And so a lot of people, when I speak to them, they go, "Oh, we just need marketing." And that might be true. A lot of the times, though, with more leads doesn't mean you're going to get more sales. You actually need to be better at selling today than we ever were back in those days, because people have less time, less interest, less enthusiasm to listen to a salesperson waffle on. We need to make sure we're succinct. We're creating a relationship on the day, on that conversation. Typically, I have in a sales conversation for my business, I have typically one conversation with the person before they buy, maybe two. Now, I know your business is probably different, but if your marketing was building the trust and credibility and story, and that's what people expect these days, they're going to go out looking for evidence that you can do what you say you can do. They're going to look for testimonials. They're going to watch those testimonial videos. You're going to send those to people. You're going to make sure you sweat those assets and continually drive people towards those things. That at that time, then you're going to have the ability, when the person does pick up the phone, or they connect with you, now your salesperson, you have to be absolutely dialed in and the best you could possibly be. There's no room for error anymore in sales. So you need to build. So talking about we literally were taught to walk into a person's home, because my first sales job was selling vacuum cleaners door to door, and look for something. That's crazy, right? Look for something that we could relate to. Oh, fishing trophy. Talk about fishing. Holiday snaps. Talk about whatever it might be, to try to build that rapport. Today, rapport is built on competence. So you need to be a competent, capable salesperson. Talking about fishing and things like that. People haven't got time, because you've got these amazing devices in our hands that are taking up the rest of our time. You look at the number of hours you spend on your phone a day. That's hours that what did people used to do? Watch TV or talk to people. Now we spend looking at the phone. So your sales conversation needs to be absolutely on point. And as I said, over the course of my time, we've sold more than $100 million worth of software using our sales script. So as I said, if you want the sales script, just put in sales script in the comments, and I'm more than happy to send that to you. That's no problem at all. So I'll send you my sales script. Obviously, you'll have to modify it to yourself. So that is how marketing sits in 2024 and beyond. It's the work of marketing is going to do more and more heavy lifting over those years. Over the sales cycle. And you just need to be better and better at it. Okay. The third chapter of today's conversation is about growth at the speed of trust. This is something that's become really obvious to me in the last, say, a couple of years. And just now it's becoming to a point where growth happens only at the speed trust is built. The more trust you create and the faster you transfer it, the faster you'll grow. Because there are lots of options. You have competition. Your product is not that special. These are terrible things to say. But as far as your customers are concerned, these are true. Because if you think about it, if you were to describe a Ferrari and a 1986 Toyota Corolla, both of these things sound the same. Steering wheels, black rubber wheels on the ground, seats, gearbox. So to the uninitiated, they sound like the same. So as far as your product is concerned, before they experience, before they understand what you actually do, the products sound the same. So you need to be able to transfer that trust, because they probably can buy a cheaper product. They can use Excel. They can, because they're already solving the problem. So what I need you to think about is how you're going to transfer that trust. So small businesses and sometimes businesses are getting larger. David, happy to send those scripts over. But as businesses are getting larger, Google reviews. I use a meeting product called Fathom, and in every email they send out, on the front of the page of their website, even the internal emails that the AI meeting thing sends me as a review of or a wrap up of the meeting, the top line next to the name is the Trustpilot and Google ratings. And every time I see it, I go, they're transferring the trust of the marketplace. They've democratized the trust. They've crowdfunded the trust, crowdsourced the trust, and are continually reinforcing that trust back to me. And how are you doing that? I need you to really think deeply about how you're transferring the trust of your existing clients to your future clients. Because if somebody absolutely knew, if they knew what you know about your product and the value that it created, you would have no sales cycle. They would just call up and buy. If they knew how good your product is, you wouldn't need any of these. You would need a lot of things. You would just be, people would just call you up and buy it. Go on your website, click purchase, done. It's over. This is why, Canva nobody makes sales calls for Canva. Nobody makes sales calls for Jira or Trello. These products are so obvious to use. These products are so easy to use. People also baked into the product is that model where it's shareable and the trust is immediately transferable. So I want you to think about this. How do you transfer the trust? So a couple of the ways that we help customers do that is, and Ed, I know that we've done some videos for you as well. Let me just see if I can move my mouse over here so I can go full screen on these. So this is something we did for an existing client. They call Work. I went down to Canberra and interviewed the guy from Evo Energy, second or third largest energy provider in Australia. They said Work has improved the outcomes and processes for Evo Energy directly. What a great comment. You send that to other giant energy providers. Somebody says they've improved the outcomes and processes for Evo Energy directly. They go, well, these guys are qualified. I trust that this person is saying the right thing. And now I've got that level of trust that's built. Canberra Airport, the one on the right here, the implementation from a paper-based system to a fully digital one took about 2 weeks. So one of their value propositions is they can actually take your systems and digitize them very, very quickly. Well, here's a person, a very believable person, talking about how they've done it in 2 weeks. Another example of this is, is Nexusoft. Nexusoft is a client of ours, and so this is their testimonial. We said MediLaw increases weekly bookings by 150% with Nexusoft employing no extra staff. And you can read these things. These are speaking directly to the problem that exists within the client's mind and speaking directly that this has all been done before. People have gone on record to say it. It is absolutely clear what is going on right now. So for me in Tech Talk, I've got a 25-page book of testimonials. I've got video testimonials of clients. Somebody wants to know what I do, what we do, how we help them. There's literally a book that we've created that we can email out. Well, it's a PDF. We can email out that has dozens of testimonials in there from businesses that we've helped transform and make more successful. So this is how we're able to transfer trust. You might not have heard of me, but if somebody who said, hey, I've got 25 pages of testimonials, and obviously they have a conversation with them, they go, this guy might actually know what he's talking about. All right, so let's carry on. So as we wrap up today, I want to go over here. This button here. So as we wrap up today, I want to talk about the marketing blueprint. This is the structure that we're going to use that's going to give you the greatest opportunity to drive net new sales. Look, customer service is important, and you'll definitely get sales out of that. Driving those referrals, vital. You'll get referrals out. You'll get new business out of that. But the only way to literally scale, and that's the title of this talk is about, SaaS scale up, is making sure you can drive that net new business consistently and constantly. And of course, if you can bake into the model, like my friend Kirk says, bake into the model that shareable piece, you're really going to see some speed. So this is the blueprint. Now, as I said, I'm breaking every rule in the PowerPoint presentation handbook, and it's going to be a really complex slide, but I'm more than happy to I'll break all of these down for you. But here we go. So first of all, we start with knowing your target market. Now, you know this. I've talked about it. I want to be really, really clear that this is a vital part of it. Know your target market. Second part is you need to build high impact content. So the high impact content could be ebooks, could be guides, could be listicles, could be things that actually do that really talk to the buyer's pain points and provide value. High impact content could also be a webinar. High impact content could be a podcast. High impact could be a newsletter. Whatever it is, you need to find a way to get you speak directly to your clients, directly to your market, and the sniff test should be: is this good enough that one of my target customers would share it with one of their friends? Is this useful enough to do that? Okay. Next, the third part is lead magnets. You need to be able to approach the broad market. Now, the thing is with Google advertising and other types of advertising. Let me just look at you so I can make the impact here. The thing is, we need to think about the funnel, your sales funnel, and how does that work? So when it comes to lead magnets, we need to be able to approach the entire marketplace, have everybody know us. This is where the whole part about getting attention is, and then the right people will come to us over time. And we'll nurture those people using the content that we've been talking about. So lead magnets is absolutely vital. You need to build those things, put them out there, run traffic to them, have people go ahead and want to download them. All right, next part is distribution. Got to get it out there. So organic and paid. Your lead magnets can be an organic activity, can also be a paid activity. So you've just got to get more content. So the difference between organic and paid is essentially you're paying to be at the front of the line. That's the only thing. That's the only difference. Your lead magnets and your high value content, your cornerstone content, as we sometimes call it, is just there to position you in the marketplace, demonstrate your capability, and then you need to distribute it. You need to get it out there. And if you need to pay Facebook to do that, then you should. I do. I pay Facebook to get subscribers to my podcast. I pay Facebook to get people to download my content. I pay Facebook for attention, and they're very, very good at it. So we need to think about how we can get this out there and speak to more people at scale. Next thing is retargeting. We're going to drive this traffic. We need to communicate with those people. We need to continually build trust. Now, this is a recurring theme in this conversation today, but we need to continually build trust in your customers. If they see it once, they go, yeah, that's fine. But frequency and retargeting, understanding this customer sees it second, third, 10th, 20th time, they'll eventually go, you know what? I've convinced myself that I need to talk to this person. I need to talk to David. I need to talk to Ed. These people are important. They've said enough times. They've banged the drum enough. And so, shout out to Ed, who's in the audience today. He has a range of content that he continually puts out there over and over and over. And it doesn't need to be fresh every time. It doesn't need to be earth-shaking insight, but it needs to be consistent. And it is. I mean, it does a very good job. I'm not saying it's not great. What I'm saying is it's consistent and useful to his target market, and he's getting it out there and he's getting those leads. So we need to continually reinforce our value to the marketplace. So re-engage visitors, and of course also with retargeting, you've got tools, you've got marketing, you've got a whole range of things that allow you to get that back in front of your customers. Retargeting, emails. If you build an email list, you can send those emails to your clients. You can continually communicate with them. Next part is SEO and SEM. Obviously, SEO. There's a whole world of people out there. They might randomly and occasionally Google something that's down the bottom of the funnel that they need to solve the problem with you, or need to solve a problem that you solve. Well, you might as well be there. And SEM, search engine marketing. So at the top, at the lead magnet end, that is the broad market. At the SEO and SEM end, it's narrow market. People are Googling things. People are looking for stuff. And at that point, that's going to help them find you. So you need to be there. Build your network. One thing that great businesses do is they continually are building the network of people that can refer to them. Once again, how many people out there can advocate for you in the marketplace? That's your customers, your employees' families, your professional network, people that can speak positively about you and what you do. Absolutely vital to get that out there and have those conversations. Are there influencers? Are there people who run certain groups? Is there an industry group that you could sponsor their magazine and then and sell to the members there? Can you show up to a trade show? How do you build that network? I've got clients currently at trade shows right now, and their whole goal is not necessarily to sell, but build connections and generate leads. That's the only goal. He talked about sales. I said, look, let's not talk about sales. Let's talk about leads and building network. And the last thing is optimize. Continually and constantly tweaking the dials, turning things, looking at the reporting, understanding that if you put out 10 ads, 2 of them might be good, 8 of them might, 5 of them might be ordinary, and 3 of them might be absolutely crap. Well, bin the crap ones, spend the energy and re-put out new ads or new content. You can take the existing content you've got and continually refresh it, make it 2025, make it 2026. Unless something really dramatic has changed in the industry, you might even be able to use exactly the same stuff, just put a new tag on it. So that's what the blueprint looks like. Take a screenshot or ask for slides. I'm happy to send those to you. So then what does it look like in practical sense? This is all well and good, very, very attractive, very pretty, very busy. Matthew, well, how does it look practically? Well, this is exactly something that we would build in your business if you wanted us to help you do that. So we go from left to right. Stage 1, unaware of the problem. Stage 5, choosing a vendor. And we have elements that feed and fill the funnel at each point. So you got social media. These could be paid or free. I don't care. Paid marketing is just getting you in front of the line faster. Just getting you to the cut the line. That's all paid marketing is doing. Free is absolutely valuable and valid. I do a lot of free. I think most of my leads currently come from free advertising, free marketing that I put out on various social media platforms. So then, stage 2 is understanding the problem, building out that lead magnet, that core piece of content, webinars, and of course blogs. The next part is getting people into an email nurture sequence, or providing another guide, or building a case study. And then sales enablement happens way late, right? Now the person's seen us, we've shown up in their feeds enough for them to go ahead and download something. They've seen a couple of emails. Now it's time to receive a phone call from us, or be retargeted, followed around the internet. That's when your salesperson gets involved. And then you actually need that really strong sales process, that machinery in your business. As I said, if you don't have that sales process really mapped out really clearly and disciplined, it takes discipline, because you probably know how to sell your product, or you probably know that there's been a whole bunch of situations where you've done it in a certain way and people have bought, which is great. But in reality, at scale, if you took your existing sales system and handed it to a fresh salesperson, how quickly would they be able to sell your product? And if the answer is more than a week, you don't have a sales system. It might be shocking to hear, oh, well, my product's really unique and interesting, and they've got to be able to talk about accounting. And well, that's not true, because people already know about accounting. If your product is accounting, then, well, you don't need to talk about that. You're talking about solving a problem. Most of my sales script that I send out to people that I use is questions. Most of my sales script is questions. If somebody says, Matt, what do you do? Do I talk about Google or Facebook or any of that sort of stuff? No. I say the best customers are the ones that have got a great product and know how to deliver great service, and they recognize that if they put new customers into the front of the machine, the business wouldn't fail because of blockages or bottlenecks. So now it's time to put the foot down on the sales and marketing machine. That's who I work with. And the funny thing is, I said nothing about Google or Facebook or content, because it's really, sales is not necessarily about the thing you do. It's about the problem you solve. And people don't care how you really solve it. So getting into the feeds and speeds of your product is a path to dragging the chain on the sales process. All right. So that's what a sales machine might look like, or a sales journey might look like. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the webinar that I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully you've got some value out of it. Oh, better change that to that one. There we go. Got some value. We spoke about the 4 keys and the 4 pillars, and that's absolutely vital for you to get into and understand those 4 keys and think about those all the time. The second thing there is I'll give myself full screen. There you go. The second thing there was about how quickly can you nail this, or you forget everything else. Get your sales structure right. I think I've spoken about that a few times already today. The third thing is about just growth at the speed of trust. How quickly can you transfer trust to your customers that don't know who you are? That is absolutely vital for you to know. And of course, the fourth part was the blueprint of how you're going to go about this. Now, over the course of the last 12 months, our business has grown really well. So Tech Talk is scaling, and we've got to, with the systems and structures that we put in place, has really helped our clients grow, the ones that actually take us up on our offers. So I'll be happy to talk to you about that and how we can actually implement those things. If you would like a strategy session for me to help you implement that growth blueprint, or talk about trust, or talk about your sales structure, whatever it might be, what we spoke about today, I'm more than happy to spend some time with you. Although I'm sort of limiting the number of people I work with, because I want to make sure that we're absolutely nailing every single engagement with clients, and making sure they're really growing at the pace that they want to grow at, and we've got the resources and the capability to do so. So I'm taking on one new client in December, and then late January I can take on 2, and beyond that, 2 new clients a month will be the limiting factor of how we grow. But that doesn't stop you from grabbing a strategy session with me, or a path of least resistance session with me. If you want that, in the comments, just put in strategy session. One of my team will outreach and organize a time to have a conversation with me, and we'll talk through your sales process and your structure. We'll talk through your blueprint. We'll talk through that, and then we might invite you to become a customer if that's something you want to do as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending this hour with me. This is the last webinar for the year. I've done 11 webinars over the 11 months, the last Thursday of every month. So thank you very much for joining me for quite a few webinars over the time. My Black Friday sale, my Black Friday special offer is, I have no Black Friday special offer. I will create that, actually. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate the. I won't create a Black Friday one, let's be honest. But we do have customers who are who are driving a significant number of sales. What we have done in the past is we've set up a whole range of case studies and really driven a great level of business into our customers' businesses. So let's have a conversation if you would like to. More than happy to do that. My offer, really, to be honest, Ed, is helping a business implement a sales structure, or the blueprint, or that's the how do we talk further about trust. So I'm happy to do that for free. That is my offer. And if you want to be a client later on, then we can talk about that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this year. I've really enjoyed these conversations. I've really enjoyed thinking every single month about how I can add greater levels of value and help you scale your tech business to the moon. So until next year, thanks very much. Bye for now.